Paso Robles is located 20 miles inland from the Pacific Ocean, halfway between Los Angeles and San Francisco, and is at the heart of the Central Coast wine region. Hot days end as coastal breezes flow over the Santa Lucia Mountains, cooling the vineyards in the evening and deliver near perfect growing conditions year after year. I love Paso. When we were heading to Paso, Enrique, Rosemary, and niece Maya, our friend Lisa said we had to come to San Luis Obispo and try the Slow Brewery. We did. We visited. We liked some of their beers, but next door they had an incredible distillery, so we went over here as well. Sadly, we ate lunch before we got here because we would have loved to have had a pizza. But we did do the distillery whiskey tasting and ended up buying 2 bottles of their reserve whiskey that really was incredible. We then drove to Pismo Beach, which is a really cool place, and stopped at the best place to stop in town, the cinnamon roll store. We got 1 roll to share between us, and it was as good as we remembered. We'll be back. The Dow Vineyard is the developmental dream of George and Daniel Dow. Their parents, Joseph and Marie, met and married in Lebanon. At that time, Beirut was the popular and cosmopolitan city, often called the Paris of the Middle East. Father Joseph transformed his father's small carpenter business into an incredibly successful furnishing company, and everything was great until Enrique is a member of Halter Ranch, and I used to be. Halter Ranch was purchased by Hans-Jörg Wyss in 2000. He renovated the 19th century Victorian farmhouse and enlarged the vineyard. The estate now encompasses over 2,700 acres. That's huge, with 180 acres of sustainably produced wine grapes. 19 grape varietals at Halter Ranch occupy the steepest, most south-facing slopes on the property, which reach an elevation of 1,950 feet and provide excellent sun exposure. Only 180 acres of Halter Ranch's 2,700 acres are dedicated to farming and structures. The rest is left to natural landscape, mainly oak woodland and wildlife corridors. Oh, I would love to live in that area. We're back at Dow. In 1973, a missile fired to begin the Lebanese Civil War struck the sidewalk in front of the Dow family home. Shrapnel tore through the house and seriously injured members of the family. For 2 years, the family rebuilt and recovered from injuries, but when the war got worse in 1975, Joseph and Marie decided to move the family to France, hoping for a brighter future. In France, Joseph decided he was very interested in wine and developed a passion, and his sons developed the same passion. In the early 1800s, George and Daniel moved to California, studied electrical engineering and computer engineering at San Diego State University. They started their own company, Dow Systems, a networking technology company that revolutionized hospital computer systems. You will be famous. And in 1998, after taking the company public, they sold the company, and the dream of becoming winemakers came true. Daniel had been making wine in his garage and growing Cab Sauvignon grapes on a 1-acre vineyard while reading every book he could find about winemaking. And so began the Dow Vineyards in Paso Robles, with the dream of the two brothers. Downtown Paso Robles, as they say, Paso Robles, not Paso Robles, but the locals call it they call it Paso Robles. I still can't get used to that, so I call it Paso Robles. Downtown Paso is an incredibly wonderful little small town. There are all kinds of great restaurants, wineries, and shops. And you have to come and visit. This is the old Carnegie Library that is now a historical center, and you must visit that as well. Friend Lisa, who you met in the previous video, came up to Paso for a day with her friends Tanya and Judy, who live in Oceana, a community very close but on the beach or on the ocean. Together we went to this incredible restaurant and had a delicious lunch that is unforgettable. And we're back in Paso. Paso is a community of cowboys and surfers. It's a laid-back small city with country life. And with world-class food, seriously world-class food, and wine around every corner. If you're ready to go country or dress up for the night on the town in idyllic wine country, Paso Robles is the place for you. It's artsy, it's casual, it's creative, it's emotive. It's a great place. I love Paso, in case you hadn't figured it out by now. It's just a small city, but so much more. I encourage you to check it out and see what you think. Friend Lisa also recommended this vineyard that I'd never been to before. The Ducey Vineyard began in the early 1920s when Sylvester and Caterina Ducey emigrated from northern Italy and settled in Paso. The Ducey Vineyards introduced some of the first Zinfandels to California's Central Coast. Vineyards were rare in old California in the early 1900s. Zin was the Italian varietal of choice at the time, and it remains a vineyard's mainstay today. The flavor profiles of the Ducey fruit are characterized in the land's microclimate. The 100-acre estate is located just south of Paso. When Barb and I first came to Paso a number of years ago, we discovered this little cheese shop. It's really not terribly impressive if you just walk by it. It's not fancy, it's not new, but it's got great cheeses. It's perfect if you need to find something to go with your delicious wines. So please, check it out. We go there every single time we visit. Once again, friend Lisa mentioned this particular restaurant in Arroyo Grande. There is another related restaurant in Paso that I haven't been to yet. It's called The Hatch. But Lisa and her friends, Tanya and Judy, and I went to this restaurant and we had an incredibly great dinner. So I took Christina and we had an incredibly great dinner once again. I am a member of Robert Hall. I love Robert Hall. So I took Christina here for a food and wine pairing. Robert Hall himself was from Minnesota. I like that because I'm from Iowa. So Robert Hall was a self-made man from a working class St. Paul community. He had a lot of businesses and he decided he loved wine, so he bought a winery. In order to make an incredible winery, he brought an acclaimed winemaker, Don Brady, to be the creative force behind his award-winning wines.
This pairing we did very traditional pairings, straightforward. Our last few pairings we've done some stuff out of the box, a lot of salads with red wines. And so then you get to see people kind of gears start grinding, like, wait a minute, why is there a wedge salad with a Zinfandel? This isn't traditional. Or, we did a kale salad with smoked salmon with a Syrah. And, people are like, fish, salad, that should be white. Then why are you doing it with red wine? And like I tried, some people go, yeah, that's an amazing thing. And then other people are like, no, that's traditionally white. So it's...
See, I'm glad I don't know all of the traditional pairings. Like, I know your basic, like, red meats with certain red wines, but like...
Well, like I try to explain to people, you can take something simple like halibut. A very delicate white fish that should always go with white wine. I mean, if you follow traditional pairings. If you make a nice red curry broth and you poach that delicate white fish in a curry broth and then pull it out and put it over white rice and then put that broth around it and put some shrimp and maybe some mussels in it, that goes amazing with a cab.
Yeah.
But you're not pairing the fish, you're pairing the complete dish, the taste profile of the whole dish. It's not... Crispy carabuta pork belly with a balsamic or a blood orange basil and strawberry gastrique over shaved watermelon radish. Your second course is a whiskey and chili brine turkey breast over forbidden rice with a lotus root chip with elderberry and balsamic reduction. And then lastly, you have a Wagyu beef tri-tip with fingerling potatoes and triple cream brie and juniper berries.
You have no idea how excited you just got.
I know. We are your perfect target audience here.
Pork belly. Those pigs are a really amazing life. Just a really bad afternoon.
That's what she was telling me when she read it. She was like, "Oh, this is a different kind of pork."
Yeah.
How did you arrive at all of this? Like, become a chef, or just get into cooking, or?
I mean, I've always liked it. It gives you a way to just play around. It's also instant gratification. You get to see how what you like to do instantly gratifies.
Yeah.
I get to come out and see what I get to do every day. Some days it's not always good. I'm not gonna lie. Some days, other days it's a lot better than others. So, but yeah.
First wine is our Syrah Rosé. Our Syrah grapes are grown on that side of the vineyard. 100% Syrah, 100% estate, bottled, everything. The grapes are left on their skins and stems for only 24 hours, and that's why you get the very light color as opposed to the dark Syrah, which is, your comparison is right here.
Okay.
This is the way you normally see Syrah, and then this is Syrah in a rosé version.
I like that.
The middle wine that will pair with your turkey breast is a Carignan. originally a Spanish varietal.
Okay.
Rioja area uses it as a blending wine. Carignan is a really tough plant, so they do not incorporate the stems into the fermentation, so you don't have the high tannin structure.
Okay.
But it's so nice. It's still very fruit forward and very easy drinking. But it's very independent in flavor profile from a Syrah or a Cab or a Merlot or Malbec. It's its own variety, and it does express itself in a very different way. So it is hand harvested because the stems are so tough. Machine harvesting doesn't work on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's grown what they call head train. So it has a trunk and then 5 branches.
Oh.
So it's similar to how traditionally Zinfandel has been grown. So enjoy.
Thank you. I love learning this stuff. Thank you. Excuse the fact that I'm chewing, but Christina and I decided to make a cheese board for our dinner because we've had lots of charcuterie boards and we're in love with them. And we've had so much good food that we don't need to have really straight up dinner. So we've got this. We will be adding a little bit of meat to it. We will be having some wine and perhaps then afterwards a little bit of, hold your horses, whiskey. Okay, we decided, well really Christina did, to make a rose, oh my god,
Didn't that turn out pretty?
out of the fennel sausage. Yes, it looks...
That's actually the salami.
Oh, well, salami that Barb and I got a long time ago somewhere else.
A long time ago, gosh, we're gonna die.
And we took the crackers off the cheese board because it was just a little too much. So we just stuck those on a plate. But look at how pretty! Christina filled up and checked the air and the tires. I disconnected everything that was hooked up, and now it was time for me to start on the road by myself and say goodbye to California eventually, and say hello to a new life that I hope you will join me on.